Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome back to the T-Shirt Help Desk. I'm your humble host, Gary. Gonna take you through a couple of things. Now, today what we're going to talk about is making a T-shirt template or a T-shirt mock-up. Something that looks realistic that you can put in the catalog or throw on a website or put on something really cool like THREADLESS.com, okay, or TShirtFresh.com. So here we go. First thing you want to do is you're going to want to have your T-shirt photo available. Now we're going to have T-shirt mock-ups or templates available at tshirthelpdesk.com. You can find your own, but if you want a simple one, you can always holler at us over at the T-Shirt Help Desk. So here we go. We have a T-shirt here, really cool T-shirt, and it's on the background layer. Now, I really don't like working on the background layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just right click on that and I'm going to duplicate layer. You can also press Control J. So we have a real layer, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to get rid of that background layer. That's just my preference. You can do whatever you want to. Now I'm going to duplicate that layer. I just don't like background layers, that locked background layer. So now we have two layers, and this layer in the background, or this layer right here, that first layer that we copied, that's just my safety layer. I just like having the original, just in case anything happens, I can always refer back to my original. And I click right here, the little eyeball, which makes that invisible. Okay, so now we're going to go to this layer, and this is the layer that we're working with. Okay, you can click on that and rename it whatever you want to. I'm just going to write work for my working layer. Okay, so now that we have that all situated, you go right here to your select, your magic wand, and the background is white, which is really awesome to work with. And when we get to the second part of this tutorial, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And the magic wand just captures all of that. Just captures it all. Right? So now I'm going to go to my eraser tool, and I'm going to bump that up. I'm going to bump the size of that eraser up. Even more. Even more. And I'm just going to erase that background. And for those of you who don't know, if you're new to Photoshop, anytime you see that checkered background, that means that it's nice and clear. Okay guys, now that you have that all erased and it's nice and clear in the background, we're going to get into some really cool stuff. This is the Photoshop stuff, the stuff that makes the T-shirt look real when you actually put the graphic on it. Okay, so what I'm going to do right here is, once again, I'm going to duplicate my layer. Now you don't have to do this, I just like doing it. Okay, so now I have another layer. Okay, so we have the background or the mock background copy layer, the work layer, and the work copy layer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make invisible the work layer, and I'm going to go back to this layer. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to select inverse. And what that does is, now you are selecting that white clear part. Now it's selecting the inverse, which is the opposite of that, which is the pretty blue T-shirt. Okay? So now I'm going to go into Image, Adjustments, and I'm going to go down to Hue and Saturation. And right in the center is your saturation. I'm going to move that bad boy all the way over to the left. Okay? Minus 100. I'm going to hit OK. Now what this does is that makes that T-shirt black and white, or a gray value. which is really, really important. So now once we have that, we're going to go back again into image adjustments, and then we're going to go to levels. Okay, and now when we get right here, what we want to do is really the value right here is really a mid-tone gray, and what we want to do is we want to move this over. We want to move that white part over. We want to get rid of as much gray as possible. Okay, and now we will move to the black, and we want to add some blacks to it, some nice shadows. What we want to do is we want to have light lights and dark darks. Okay, the gray is you know, I mean, some of it has to be there, but you want those really light lights and dark darks, because that's what's going to make your shadows show up later on, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And that was good. You're gonna have to play with this. It's for your own personal taste. Everyone is different. I'm just trying to show you how it's done. That looks pretty good. So we're gonna press OK. And now the same layer, we're gonna double click on that layer. And we're gonna get our layer style. Okay. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go right here inside of this layer style. We're gonna go into blend mode right here. And we're going to go down to multiply. Okay. Doesn't really, you don't really see anything, but once we click back on this layer and cut this back on, boom. Okay. Now, what you have here is that layer, and you have that multiply layer, which is your shadows. Okay. Now, what we're going to do right now is we're going to put our record here. We're going to place our record. Okay, so I already have that record, as if you saw the last video, and I'm going to place it. Boom. So I'm going to size it down, and it could be whether some people like big prints, some people like little prints. This is just to kind of show you guys something, you know. Press enter, center that a little bit. Now if you look at that, it's cool and it's on the t-shirt, but it's just kind of there. And somebody who may be looking at your catalog or looking at your website or something, you know, if they're a little savvy, they may look at it and be like, oh, he just photoshopped that. It looked like he put it right on top. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this layer, right? Now you have that work copy layer, which is that multiply layer, and then you have that original layer, and I'm just going to move this bad boy down in between. Now you can see the wrinkles and everything, and that's pretty much the multiply layer on top. Right, and then you have your artwork, and then you have the t-shirt. Okay, so you kind of sandwich that, and you can look and see now, and I'm just going to take this and move it around so you can see what I'm talking about. If you go down here where there's not a lot of wrinkles, you really don't see anything, but if you go up here, you can see those wrinkles in it, and it really gives a nice look, and it looks like it's actually on top or printed on the t-shirt, because you know when you have a real t-shirt, it moves and folds. It doesn't stay stiff. The t-shirt kind of moves and folds with the actual graphic, and the more wrinkles you have, the better this looks. Okay, so that is our tutorial for today. The next thing we're going to get into is I think we're going to use a mask, and we're going to show you how you can use the same principle but on an actual photograph of a model wearing a shirt. That's when it looks really, really awesome, because people want to see how they would look in a shirt. So come on back, man. We have some really, really great stuff coming down the pipe at tshirthelpdesk.com. We're going to have a lot of things to make your life easier. You can use these tutorials, or you can you know, go over to tshirthubdesk.com and grab some really cool stuff to make your life easy. And once you get your t-shirts up, you can put them on stuff like Threadless, or you can go over to another site that we're affiliated with, which is tshirtfresh.com, and sell your t-shirts. So we got everything covered on this side. Thank you guys for watching, and look out for the next tutorial vid. Have a awesome day and an awesome life, and you know, to your t-shirts. Peace.